Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Stokastic.com NFL First Look for Week 15, and this is a special week. I'm not sure if it's a special week in a good way. And Ben probably doesn't even know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
It's the first week now outside of like Thanksgiving and a couple of these where you already have all of these obscure days with games and all that stuff. It's the first week where you have no buys and also no overseas games, no Black Friday or Thanksgiving games, which means that we're presented with a 13-game main slate. And quite frankly, I don't love it. Now, it is what it is. This is what we've got. I like the 10, 11 game slates. We used to have somewhere it'd be like a 9-game slate, maybe once a year. And we'll probably get back to some of those, I guess, as the season goes on and you get some Saturday and Christmas Day football. But yeah, this is one of those weeks, dude. 13 games on the main.
Yeah, it's different. There's no doubt it's a little different. Obviously, when we're talking about main slates, we already have a wide range of options, but even a couple extra games, it really does suppress ownership even more. You're talking about big time players that you're going to find people just don't have room for. And that's fun in one aspect. It is a lot to handle. So we'll break through it. But the best part about it, no matter what price point you're at, you'll have 2 or 3 pivots that you can get to. I like that aspect of it. There's always legitimate pivots because of the saturated nature of each price point with this many games.
No question. Yeah, it's just, it provides, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not sure how much of a difference it makes because there's going to be several games that you can just wipe off the slate, right? So you're right. Anyway, yeah. Brandon, sorry about the Eagles, Lafayette. I made money, though. Good. I don't even care about the Eagles. I was telling Ben before the show, I had such a good read on Kamani Vidal, and I didn't get paid off on that. Like, I was sweating that far more than I was sweating the Eagles. Because in all likelihood, they still win the NFC East. And if they didn't, they won the Super Bowl last year. I'm a lot more emotionally detached than I was. But like, Vidal played because everyone, Hampton's back. Vidal played 51 snaps to Hampton's 23. They clearly trusted him out there as a pass blocker more. He had 14 carries to Hampton's 3. He had a 60-yard reception. I just needed one more carry. And when we went to overtime, Ben, I could feel my heart starting to go. I'm like, all right, here we go. First play. I see them kick off. Vidal returns it. He stays on the field. I'm like, all right, here we go. And it's a fake handoff to Vidal. And it was so perfectly executed that I'm like, yeah, we got it. And then I see Herbert taking off down the side. Ben and I were talking before the show started that it's not the bet you lose that hurt when you have a wrong read. You're just kind of like, all right, I got to figure that out. Or even when it's just like, it never really got there. Or it never had a chance of getting there. Those long shot bets where you're clearly getting value and couldn't have read it better, that lose, those ones hurt the most.
There's no doubt about it. Yeah, especially when you dig. That's the one that gets me the most. And I was complaining before the show as well about, like, if you really take some time and you find a weird spot, and you dig and you uncover something, and then it comes to fruition and you still lose, those are the ones that really do. I try not to let the variant, because anything can happen on anything, but man, that stuff was frustrating. The game was frustrating last night because I really had it where I had the right idea, and the only thing that went wrong was I assumed somebody on the outside. I didn't know who it was going to be. I was just like, all right, just by someone for the Chargers is going to have a game, whether it's Ladd, Gadsden, Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston, Trey Harris, and none of them did anything. And that screwed up all my lineups. So yeah, we move and we got some big time games to break down. Obviously it's almost like legitimate playoff, these are win or go home type games.
Let's get into it, man. And Einsteinium says Hampton had 13 carries, though, true split. Yeah, but the betting market was flipped on those guys. The betting market had Hampton above Vidal as far as rushing attempts go. So, it is what it is. All right, Ken Simmons, my Goblin of the week are the refs. Multiple games with horrible calls. The likely touchdown that got overturned. I don't want to talk about likely, man, but we will get into it. Goblin of the week. We are in week 15 now, man. And I do feel like the most recent 3 or 4 weeks, we haven't had any really crazy right? Like nothing, no crazy notable goblins. It could be Jalen Hurts, but I typically don't like to give it to guys who just play bad.
Oh.
Like we want to give it to people who make a real goblin-esque decision, which means a true, decisions. And it could have been like last year, Will Levis made it a couple times because his decisions were boneheaded. But the Chiefs, they just ran into a defensive buzzsaw. Do you have anything that stands out as somebody you could say, you do? Okay. Well,
no, I was just kind of nodding. So I'll give you a notable, because I go off the grid a little. The committee in college football, not because they left Notre Dame out, but because of the way they did it, was incredibly dumb. The entire year, Laffy, the entire year, they had Notre Dame ahead of Miami. It's like, all right, whatever. You want to debate that? You want to debate that? Miami beat them head to head, but Notre Dame is ahead of Miami the whole way. They don't play either of them. And in the final rankings, they flipped. It's like you could have justified it the whole year. Just put Miami ahead of them and say head-to-head matters, and no one would complain. I certainly wouldn't. But to flip them for no reason at the end is just...
So is it just arbitrary? Is it like... I mean, I don't get that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a committee. And
see, the other thing, though, with Notre Dame, I don't pay much attention to... What's that?
I hate Notre Dame. So, like, I'm very happy they're out.
Every time they get into a big game, don't they just get destroyed anyway?
They're one of the, I mean, it's all these things. We're not going down this rabbit hole. They're definitely one of the 12 best teams. There's no doubt in my mind. But head-to-head does matter. I just didn't like the way the committee did that. I'll give you my NFL Goblin, though.
Please.
Something crazy, but you're talking about decision-making. Finally, not even finally, credit to Shador. He had a real game, a legitimate big-time game.
He did.
And...
he did. Absolutely.
In typical Browns fashion, with the game on the line, they take him off the field to run what I assume would have been a Philly special-esque play. And it was so bad.
With Judkins you're talking about, right?
Yes, and he forgot the play. And he ended up running backwards 20 yards and then throwing it to nobody. And the game is over. You have a rookie quarterback that it could have been his signature moment, and you don't even give him a chance. That just makes legitimately no sense. Cleveland Browns, as usual, Goblin of the Week.
Once again, figuring out ways to shoot themselves. It really is ripping defeat from the jaws of victory, and some teams are just better than others. All right, I've got one really fun, and it's not so much a Goblin of the Week, but if we don't talk about it, like this is something that you and I would kick ourselves if we didn't talk about.
Go on.
Pete Carroll, 4 seconds left in this game. They're down by 10, and this is a game now, right? This is a game where they're down by 10. The spread was 7.5, 8.5, right? Doesn't actually matter. I don't know where it went off, but I know it was 7.5 earlier in the week. And 4 seconds left. The penalty is taken by the Broncos, laying on top of Christian Kirk. Now, there's no way, even if you didn't lay on him, that they would have been able to get a playoff. And they were still down by 2 possessions. So they call it delay of game, unsportsmanlike, whatever it may be. And Pete Carroll decides to kick the field goal. The interesting thing here is he's a hero. He's like an anti-Goblin, or he is the all-time Goblin. If you were on the Broncos, Pete Carroll is clearly the Goblin of the Week, and many of you are probably crying to have him incarcerated. Dave Portnoy actually advocated for him to be killed, which is extreme. On the other hand, if you're a Broncos backer, a Raiders better, could you be any happier? Now, the other question is, what actually is the right decision to make there? Like, if you kick the field goal, there's still no chance that you're going to be able to get the ball back. But if you throw a Hail Mary, there's no chance either. So do you just kneel it out, or do you say, you know what, screw it, we'll try and get points? And like, I don't actually know what the decision is there, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a rare decision where the equity is not going to change because you have a 0% chance to win no matter what you do. So do it. I will say this is more of a personal complaint. I am, and I'm not exaggerating, 0-1,000 in the situation where the team has the chance, where they should, the optimal move, and teams don't do this enough, is to kick the field goal immediately, like in the middle of your drive, and then onside kick. Instead of driving down and scoring with like 9 seconds left.
You should, because if you can't get the ball back, it doesn't matter. It
doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well,
every time I need a team to do that, they go in and score. And every time I need a team to try to go in and score, they're like, oh, they're going to take the field goal. It's ridiculous.
Einstein, you see, I heard it made sense. Onside kicks take 0 time off the clock. Understood. But to snap and hold and kick what was it, like a 43 or 48-yard field goal, I don't think there's any way that takes less than.
No, there's nothing you can do there.
Right. Like, yeah, no. But I'm saying that would have been more than 4 seconds for sure.
That's right? What I mean. There's nothing to do. But
actually, we know it was more than 4 seconds because we saw it happen.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought that was a fun Goblin or anti-Goblin of the week, depending on who you're looking at. You know, maybe Pete Carroll also just said, hey, screw it. We're going to see if we can cover the spread here.
I mean, that's a whole different, like.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
That's what I was about to say. I actually don't think there's anything bad about
that. There isn't. Like what's the difference really? You kneel or you try, if you know.
Like, I don't have for your fans. I don't think that's that crazy. This would open a wormhole.
Oh, that's a good point. What if you have a bunch of Raiders fans?
I mean, you're betting your own team. If you can, why not try to cover?
Right. I see nothing. And by the way, that's not like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that in the sense that like it's criminal. That people are, of course, it's not. Like,
I mean, it would obviously, you just have to have your priorities right. Like, nobody's advocating for being like, well, we're down 3, but we're getting 6.5. Like, we're going to kneel because we want to cover.
Of course.
Obviously not. But if you can't win, if you're down 30 and the spread is 28.5, I don't think it's bad if that team kicked a meaningless field goal to get to 27 so you cover.
I don't either.
Like, what else do you have to do at that point? Like,
well, I think it's really just the difference between scoring points and shaving points, right? Like you're scoring points. You're not intentionally taking points off the board for yourself. And to me, that's the biggest difference.
Yeah, as long as you're not disturbing the integrity, I don't care really what you do. And kicking a field goal when you have nothing else to do, what's the difference? Yep.
And the Hurts interception was in OT was the ultimate result for anti-sweating under 41.5. Yeah, that was a terrible interception, and Hurts was having a great drive. Finally, horrible game from him. Horrible. I mean, he turned the ball over twice on the same play.
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, it was bad. Let's get into it. Glad to have you guys here. Happy Tuesday. Ben and I love doing this show each week. I mean, we're really just digging in for the first time along with you guys. I do a little bit of, it's not research. I go through the positions the night before during Monday Night Football just to see what's out there so I can have a decent structure of the show and we can have talking points for specific guys. But aside from that, it's Tuesday, man. Like, we're still 5 days out. We like to dig in with you here. Everyone's getting in on the ground floor. So let's make it happen. And if you could be so kind, Ben, I'll tell you what, it helps us when they hit the thumbs up, when they subscribe. There's a new hype button down there that people can hit as well. I'm told that goes a long way. Are you unfamiliar with the hype button?
I'm unfamiliar with the hype button, but apparently that's what you need to be doing. Press it and see what happens. That's a genuine, like, it doesn't cost anything, right?
No, you have like a certain amount of hype points that you can allocate to different creators. And I think it's after this is done being live, right? So once it's in VOD form, but still, if you're watching, most people watch after the fact. Like the majority of people here watch after the fact.
Jeff said, I didn't watch last week. Was anyone on Shador or Tony Pollard? I suggested locking both of them, actually.
Which is wild because I was so vehemently against
across all 600 lineups. I just said, come, you know what? Put those two in.
You didn't say 600. You said you're getting wildly overweight to them. You did not say you're locking. I think you had, I think when the deeper dive ended on Sunday, you said you were like 50% to both, which is still insanely.
Yeah, I called for 5 touchdowns for Shador, and he only had, I think, 4.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know,
the problem is you weren't high enough on Harold Fannin Jr.
Yeah, the other problem was that even if you told me, if I saw the box score of that game, and I knew it was official, I still wouldn't have got to Tony Pollard. Like if you showed me that they scored like 30 points, damn good call. Only in my dreams, my friend. But you know what? But the only thing, no joke, I did say this. This is a true statement. I said this on on Sunday. Even if that game miraculously was a shootout, which it was, it had barely any effect because no reasonable person was coming up with that. So like, yes, Tony Pollard was 0.2% owned in your tournaments. Not really going to make or break. You couldn't get to him realistically.
Yeah, dude. I looked at all of the, like, I didn't look at the Millie winner, but I looked at the power sweep and the spy and all those, and to see who was winning. None of those guys were in the lineup.
No.
So to your point, it was crazy, but it was almost like they didn't exist in a way.
It was not a big deal. That was not the problem. The problem was Michael Wilson. If you didn't play him, then you just lost.
The Sims had a ton, dude. I got to a ton of Michael Wilson. Josh Jacobs scored late. That was super helpful. Not that he was great. Devon Achane got hurt. You know, it sucked for me. And this is why I respect our audience, because some of them may come talking shit to me if a guy's just bad and I hype him up, and I think that's very fair, right? As long as they're saying ahead of time,
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like say it ahead of time and then say I told you so. I'm all about that. No big deal. Back it up, right? And then stand on it. Fine. But you can't be like, oh, yeah, Lafayette and Ben make some good points. I'm going to play this guy. I agree. And then when he's bad, come and be like, you guys are idiots, right? I mean, you could. But what I'm saying is I was expecting people to be like, oh, yeah, how about Daniel Jones? But I think once people realized that it actually wasn't the same leg and it wasn't the same injury and it was his Achilles, there's just nothing. Like it was just a really bad break. I texted you about that. After that first interception, he looked perfectly fine. He was driving the ball downfield. He looked good. And I'm thinking, all right, this could be a solid game. And that kept me from having a big week. I was fine, but I had a lot of Warren. You know, I had a lot of Pierce, and he got hurt too. That hurt. That hurt pretty bad.
Ironically for me, Geno getting hurt really was expensive. He wasn't even having a good game. I just needed anything. And then Pickett threw a touchdown to a guy. I joke around. I said every so often there's a guy that appears that I genuinely have never heard of. And the guy who scored for the Raiders, I've never heard of that person in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Cedric Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Bo Jackson's.
Who the hell is Darius Cooper, by the way?
What?
Who's Darius Cooper?
He's a guy that popped in training camp. And
I'm like watching the game. I'm like, who the hell is that?
Yeah, I know. But yeah, Cedric Jackson's Bo Jackson's son.
No, that's not true either. But
no,
they are related though.
No, they're not.
No, they are. It's his nephew. That is true.
I just looked it up.
I heard it on the broadcast.
I did too, and that's why I looked it up. But then it's saying they're not. I mean, you know what? I think Google AI is just flat out.
Google AI doesn't know. They. All right. Let's
get into it. Quarterbacks
in the pool. That's who I'm going to this week.
What's that?
Is Phillip Rivers in the player pool yet? Because that's who I want to get to.
Oh, that'd be a nice little spot, huh?
Yeah.
44-year-old Phillip Rivers. His 14 kids are all grown up and out of the house now, and
he's a grandpa.
He can come play some more football. Josh Allen against the Patriots. This guy is just insane. It's so hard to want to stack him with anyone, though.
Yep.
You know, Khalil Shakir had 1 touchdown and what do you have, 2 for 8 receiving or something? Kincaid wasn't a bad stack partner, actually, but you had Kincaid, you had Dawson Knox, because tight ends against Cincinnati, it's just been automatic at this point. But then everybody else is just like they exist. Oh, you know who hurt me now that I think about it? Don't worry, I'm not getting off topic here, but because it's the same game. James Cook. That fumble at the goal line was truly brutal, man. Because I had
also scored on like a 30-yard pass, which was huge. And then not only didn't they have
another one called back on a penalty too from him?
So did you see that one though? That one was extra absurd. It was the same play you're talking about.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
And they not only was it a penalty, Cincinnati challenged because they didn't want the penalty, saying he fumbled out of the back of the end zone. And he didn't. And then they were like, okay, we'll just take the penalty.
Terrible.
Very terrible.
Bad. But that hurt me. I'll always go back to Josh Allen. He is expensive. And here's a little spoiler alert for you. We'll get to them in a second. I really like this week the 5K, not 5,000 flat, but the 5,000 range of quarterbacks this week.
Stroud.
I have him on the list. By the way, the Jacoby Brissett magic may be coming to an end this week.
Oh, the Cardinals
in Houston
are so they're good for DFS. They're so bad though.
So
what
bad.
An awful team.
Yo, Michael Wilson's legitimately good. I mean, maybe I'm just you don't believe it?
No. I this is the only guy, and it's not like a Michael Wilson dig. This is the only guy I've ever said this about with the NFL because it doesn't work like this. This genuinely reminds me of an NBA situation where like a guy just is on the Wizards averaging like 26, 6 and 6, and then he's not actually that good. I don't understand how if this guy is this good, what exactly were the Cardinals doing?
That's what I wonder. But the thing is, Ben, if you watch the catches, these passes he's catching, it's not like these are at the line of scrimmage. He's making like he looks like a contortionist out there.
I know.
High pointing these balls in double coverage or with a defender draped on him. I mean, 11 for 16, 10 for 15, 15 for 18. That's why it's really hard for me to look at Michael Wilson and be like, oh, this is just a fluke. Because I've watched these games. I've watched not like every minute of every game, but I've watched every one of these games and I've been invested in them. He's making catches that most players can't make. And he's making multiple of like that pirouette grab at the pylon for his second touchdown last week on Sunday. That was a beautiful catch.
I'm not arguing any of that. I just don't get it. And I'll tell you this.
I'm not playing him this week, by the way.
That's the next words in my mouth. I don't care how good he is. He's not good enough to go up against Stingley and co. No one really is at that point. So good luck. Michael Wilson's awesome, but not happening this week.
It's not even his fault. It's just they're going to destroy Jacoby Brissett. And if Michael Wilson has a game against Derek Stingley, I will anoint him as the best receiver in all of the land.
Yeah. I mean, it just shows how bad Kyler. Honestly, this is a dig. This just shows how bad Kyler is.
Yeah, it's tough for me though because they're playing from behind so much. But then at the same time, that's not really Brissett's fault when the defense is giving up 40 points a game, right?
No, it's the Cardinals. The Cardinals are they really need to rework the division and just make a division that is the Falcons, the Cardinals, the Chargers, and the Vikings, and just let them battle it out in a separate league of just irrelevant teams. And
what about the Saints?
The Saints and Washington can go in there too.
Okay. I love it. Just give me your thoughts on the 6K and up guys, because then I want to get to some of these other ones. And I'll tell you quickly, I think Burrow's totally viable here against Baltimore. There's nothing about Baltimore that convinces me right now that this team is, I mean, that was just the most prototypical signature Tomlin win, was it not? Like those are the type of games Tomlin and Rodgers win. And it was fun. Did you see DK Metcalf was a gunner on the final kick of the game on special teams?
But that's a scary guy to be storming down there.
Yeah, these guys were just bouncing off of him. You have Hurts against the Raiders. That may just be the mega mind genius spot there. I hate to do it, but I'm considering it. Stafford against Detroit. What's the total in that game? So there are some players here. Even Jackson against Cincinnati, as bad as he's been, I'm willing to give that a look. Those are the guys pretty much on my radar right now.
Yep. Similar for me. The guys that, priorities at first glance, Josh Allen up top, Lamar in the 6s. I like that spot. And then in the 5K range for me, you've got Stroud, you've got Jackson Dart. Maybe a Darnold back at home against the Colts team that is it's not their fault. They're just running out of bodies. And I know it's a quarterback, but that affects everything. Like, they will not be able to move the ball nearly as effectively. So yeah, that's where I'm going. We have a lot of options. It's a product of that many games.
Oh my God, man. The Eagles Raiders total is 38.5.
I mean, the Raiders can't score at all.
Neither can the Eagles.
I know, but
they're 11.5 point favorites. So, God, what is their implied total? Look, 55 on the Lions and Rams, dude. 55 this week.
I get it.
Wow. That's I have it on the screen, right? You can see it.
Yeah. It's hard to pull. It's
on YouTube. It's a little bit easier for everybody.
Yeah, I'm just looking on another screen, but yeah, I mean, there's some. All right. Late in the season, you're gonna see some real discrepancies out there.
The Raiders have a 12.5 total.
Yeah, that's sad. I mean, I don't even know who their quarterback is going to be.
Kenny Pickett, probably.
Yeah, that's not it.
That's not it at all, man. Also, pretty wild. It looks like the Rams are 6-point home favorites against the Lions. Wow. All right, back to quarterbacks, though. I think this is a good range in the 5K spot. You guys in chat, let us know if you're listening or watching after the fact. Obviously, let us know in the comments. But I don't really want anyone from Denver, Green Bay. If that shoots out, well, no. Fine. I do like Sam Darnold here, actually quite a bit. And he looked real bad early on. It was like a 3-3 or 6-3 game at half. And then they just put the pedal to the floor in the second half of that game. Now you're talking about a Colts team that they're in dire straits. The only concern I have is that they don't really need to do much. But Charvarius Ward is back in concussion protocol, and Sauce Gardner is probably going to miss another week. So you're talking about a team that just traded away a lot for Sauce Gardner. He probably misses, and Ward is back in concussion protocol for the third time this year. I can't imagine he plays. They're going to be really, really thin in the secondary. JSN may just have 200 yards this week.
Yeah, that team. Like I said, it's just they're out of bodies in a lot of ways, and I don't know what you do about that. So Seattle's been a difficult team to decipher at times, but I think the one thing we do know is JSN, of course. The guy's unless I seemingly need him, he's unbelievable. I'm the kryptonite with JSN. I can't get him right.
Yeah. Timothy, love Dart. Only concern is first overall pick on the line. Does that play into anything? I typically always lean no in these situations. Coaches want to win. This is an interim head coach.
Yep.
He's not going to try and lose this game for a draft pick. It's usually you don't see that very often at all.
And players obviously don't.
Right.
Decisions, sure, but the players are not going to care about that at all.
Yep. Yeah, Dwayne. JSN is the only guy who diced up Stingley all year.
Which I still don't understand that.
No, I bet the unders on him that too. It did not work out. But I'll tell you what, I like Jackson Dart against Washington a lot. Stroud against Arizona, perfectly fine. I don't love him, but I think he's fine. Even guys like Bryce Young, even Marcus Mariota, honestly, against the Giants. If some of these guys, Ben, end up just being way lower on, like let's just say Darnold gets steamed, and I think Lawrence could possibly get a lot of ownership as well if Parker Washington's out. You've got your Brian Thomas and your Jacoby Myers, 10-target game last week. Another big target game. Or like Jackson Dart. If any of those guys end up being really chalky, or any of the 6K and up guys, I could see myself getting different with the Mariota against the Giants, or Stroud against Arizona, possibly even Tyler Shuck again against Carolina. But I could see Mariota being a really low-owned play that I get to, and it's not like he doesn't have stack attachments. And I'll go one step further. With Zach Ertz done for the year with the ACL tear, Terry McLaurin is cheap. Deebo Samuel is cheap. to me, this actually could make for a really interesting stack. Two low 5K receivers against that Giants secondary.
Yeah, again, it's all, you mentioned it. You're going to have obvious guys that we talk about, and then you're going to have last week it was Geno for me, Daniel Jones for you, guys that are going to be a 2% stack. That's one of those. I think Bryce Young might be one of those. Certainly Caleb Williams against the Browns would be one of those. So it's just organizing risk tolerance to upside to paths. And I get that. I do. I'm not going to chase Sedor. I get it, but I'm not going to do that. I'd rather gut the Bears on the ground.
Give me your top 4 quarterbacks right now. Not by who you expect to be projected for the most, but the guys you kind of like the most and think work best from a stacking perspective.
Allen, Lamar, Stroud, and Lawrence.
Common pennies. Is anyone worried about the Rams not pushing hard because of the position they're in? Use Puka less possibly to make sure he's healthy for playoffs, or is it what position are they in? I mean,
there's too many weeks left.
The Rams could very easily, and I'm not saying they will, but they could very easily finish as the 3rd team in their division. Like, they're only 1 game up on the 49ers. They're 10-3. The Seahawks are 10-3. The Niners are 9-4. You know, they could finish as the 1, 2, 3, like 6th seed. They could finish as the 7th seed. Honestly, I don't think they will, but they could. So no, this is all hands on deck, man. There's absolutely, there's nothing that no way. Anyway, give me Dart. I really do like that spot for Jackson Dart. That Washington defense is abysmal. Burrow.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts. I just don't think people are going to want to play Jalen Hurts. I think it'll be very low. And I really don't think they'll want to. I'll go with Hurts and Mariota right now. I like the way that stack works out. And honorable mention, Sam Darnold and Lawrence. Those guys look pretty good too. Talk about running backs.
Let's talk about some running backs.
All right. So I don't think it's actually that stacked for a 13 gamer.
Yeah, I mean, you're missing Bijan. So that's one of the big names. You're missing Achane. You just happen to be missing a couple of the top end guys. And the Jonathan Taylor, it's not experiment. I don't mean that in a bad way. Jonathan, no one's maintaining a 10K price point.
No.
That's just crazy. Never should have been up there.
No, and now you're dealing with a scenario where teams are just going to completely sell out to stop him.
Yeah, it was already borderline that was after, some of his explosive games. So it's like, yeah, McCaffrey and Gibbs. And I get it. It's hard not to like those guys.
That's tough. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just both of them are in, like, those are big time games. I never mind fantasy matchups.
Absolutely. Man, in best ball, it sucked because I got a lot of Jonathan Taylor, and like now you're going into this week and Taylor's got Seattle and he doesn't have a quarterback. That is not fun.
Where are you at, and what stage is best ball at?
The week 14 was the last week of the regular season. Now it's into the playoffs.
Into the playoffs? Okay.
Yeah, so you're grouped into 12-man pods. Yep. And then if you get through that, there's 2 more rounds, I think. Yep. 2 more? 15, 16. Yeah, 2 more rounds. Okay. Until the final round, I think, is a field of 500 or 1,000 or something. Yep. I don't know the exact number, but yeah.
Well, hopefully you make it through.
This is my worst advance rate I've ever had. It's not bad, but it's not nearly as good. Usually I always have usually I'm up close to 30% advance, which is pretty good. This year, I got nowhere close to that. But you know what? Sometimes all you need is one, right? I've had years where I've advanced a ton of teams at a great clip, and then all of them get wiped out in the first round. So what difference does it make at this point? Yeah. How about the Kyren and Corum situation?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm going to hold on to this theory, even though last week the Cardinals were so inept. I still think it's more like, are we really going to play Blake Corum? I don't think that's the answer.
I'm not. And he still only had 12 carries. It's just, and shout out to, I think it was Goody who mentioned, like, should I play Stafford and Corum and nobody? Well, you really would have needed Puka too, right? So there is that. But now I still can't do it here. It's just, he is taking away from Kyren for sure. There's just no doubt about it. They're basically in a split, and Corum's getting goal line work as well. Just Kyren at 6,800. I know it's a monster total in this game, but it's a tough matchup on the ground. I would rather go to like $6,500 Travis Etienne, I think.
Okay.
I think I would rather go to, well, I know one guy I like this week. Here, check this out. $5,600 Woody Marks at home against Arizona, and Nick Chubb has a knee injury.
And it's the Cardinals.
Yeah, against the Cardinals.
Who have just, no problem with that.
Rib injury, sorry, not knee injury.
It doesn't. Kenneth Walker's right there too.
He's been terrible, man.
He has been.
I mean, it's the type of spot though, where if he's ever going to do it, it should be this week. But Charbonnet is just another guy. I just don't feel like dealing with Charbonnet anymore, and I don't.
No, it's a pain in the neck, and it's hard. Honestly, it's a much tougher matchup. I said this last week, and again, sometimes it does just work out. I didn't understand why more people weren't talking about Harvey last week. He was great. He was one of the better decisions I made on the week. He is a much tougher matchup here. I'm gonna still play him. I don't understand why he's not getting maybe some of the recognition that he deserves. 23 touches. And that's something you and me talked about. How high can the volume go?
That's why I wasn't nearly as high on him as you were.
Yeah. That was where we kind of had our inflection point, was around 20 total touches. Can he get there? And last week they showed that they're willing to do that with him. And if they continue with that, I don't see why he can't be played at flat 6.
I agree now. I mean, you were there early, but this is the first week all season. This is the first week he's played more than 50% of snaps, and he played 68% of snaps. So this was far removed from literally everything we've seen with RJ Harvey. You know, it's 20 plus touches for the first time this season. And he wasn't particularly close in the other games. He did have 16 the game before, but I look, if Harvey ends up being lower owned, it's a very tough matchup. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, at 6K, if you're going to be able to get that type of volume, I could see it. The question now is, what do you do with Ashton Genty? 5,800 now, cheapest price point of the entire year.
I don't think I'm going to get there. You would know, it's your account. What's the deal with Jalen Carter?
I don't think he'll be back next week. I will consider some Ashton Genty in this game, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you care if it's Pickett?
Honestly, I don't think there's much of a difference.
I don't really either, for what it's worth.
I mean, Pickett looked better than Geno.
Yeah, he did.
He looked better than Geno. He really did. And I'm not saying he's good. What I'm saying is Geno is objectively bad.
These guys are in no-win scenarios, including Genty. He has 50% of his carries are non-starters. He's just tackled immediately.
I know, it's so bad. Behind the line of scrimmage. Yeah.
No, there's just nothing. He only has, it's crazy. He has 17, 18 carries. He only has 8 to 10 carries where there's even an opportunity to do anything.
No, it's bad. It's really, it's a tough spot to get to. I would rather honestly go to Woody Marks.
Oh yeah, me too.
And you know, the other thing about Woody Marks, he has not had the greatest matchups lately, so it's not really reflected in the box scores. Like against Kansas City in Kansas City, that run defense is really good. Yes, Kansas City lost that game, but if you watch that, Steve Spagnuolo's squad came out there in the second half and they made CJ Stroud and company look like they did not belong in the league on offense, right? Like it's just that Houston's defense is so good that nothing else really mattered. And what were you gonna say?
No, nothing. I'm just replaying the pain of I did the old. I don't know if you ever do this. I was in bed and I had a boot. You know, they give you the boost, and it just went perfectly. And I only had one leg left, and it was Nico Collins over 4.5 receptions, and he had 4 at halftime. And I was like, I should really just put a nice hedge in. He'd probably like at 7.5, come in under, take some profit. And I was just in bed and I didn't have my computer and I was just like too lazy to go get it. And he didn't even have a chance to catch another ball in that game.
CJ Stroud, he didn't have any. I mean, that we talk about Houston's defense, but Kansas City's defense in that game outside of the first couple drives was incredible. So, yeah, I know that feeling all too well. But again, you look at Woody Marks. The Colts have a very good run defense. Buffalo doesn't, but they weren't really going to him, and he was still efficient in that game. They had a very weird pass-heavy approach early on because I think they wanted to throw Buffalo off on that Thursday game. Tennessee's run defense actually isn't bad. That's a divisional spot. So, and Jacksonville has a very good run defense too. Denver, San Francisco, Seattle. This dude's had some really, really difficult matchups on the ground. Tampa Bay, granted, he wasn't really playing much there, but he had 26 carries last game. I think Woody Marks at 5,600 is just a really good play this week.
Listen, no pushback. It's the volume has been there. We've seen it now, and the guy's he's a serious part of a serious offense. And the game, the situation is just beautiful for him. That's the other thing we can't discount.
It's so good. Timothy, you like Robinson against the Titans? If it's a blowout, maybe they rest McCaffrey. Also, thoughts on Rodriguez? I really don't think at this point in the year these guys are thinking about resting anybody. The Niners are 9-4 and third in their division. They need to keep winning and put teams away. And if we assume that they're going to rest guys, sure, if you're going to rest McCaffrey in the fourth quarter, you might. But in order to rest a guy, you have to be up by a lot of points. And in order to score a lot of points, it typically comes because your good players are scoring those points. So I don't buy into that all that much. Like McCaffrey could have 150 and 2 across 3 quarters and he sits in the fourth. Who cares?
It also, if you're worried about something like that, that's to me just reasons to not play McCaffrey. I would never play the backup.
No, not on a 13-game slate.
That's what I mean. It's not like if that happens and McCaffrey sits, that doesn't help you. That just prevents McCaffrey maybe from getting some extra run more than taking a backup. I would not do that.
I like ETN this week.
ETN's low-key good. He's just been doing his thing. They use him in the Wildcat. Liam Cohn's doing a good job with that team. I have to give him. I like him. I'm a fan of him in general, but they look decent. I'll never trust them because of the Jaguars, but yeah, they have something working right now. Also,
Tootin played 2 snaps last week.
And he fumbled.
Yep, he had 2 carries for 5 yards. He fumbled on both carries and lost one of them.
That's hard to do.
Is that right? Or was one of them like special teams or something?
I don't know. I know he fumbled. I saw him fumble. That
honestly, that makes me like Travis Etienne a lot more. Even like that. It's reminiscent of the Jaden Blue rookie situation, right? Where Brian Schottenheimer was like, look, dude, you can't do this. And then he's just been inactive. I could see something very similar happening here as well. So that, and the Quinn Allen was out there, but he's not getting anything. This could just be like a full out true bell cow Travis Etienne workload against the Jets, liking him even more and more.
Yeah. Listen, and all these teams, critical games, like the volume will be there as much as they need them. They're not going to shy away from that in a game of this magnitude.
Last question at the running back position was Einsteinium. Chase Brown, Lavi, or is Pirine existence stopping us from getting there? I bet a Pirine touchdown last week, and he had a carry inside the 10. He had 2, actually. It's really tough. Chase Brown got there kind of last week, but it wasn't on volume, Ben. He's 67.
Yeah, it was the longest touchdown.
What's that?
He scored on like a semi-long touchdown.
It was a 10-yard and I think like a 5-yard, but
really, it was that. See, I thought it was longer than that.
One was a reception. That might be what you're thinking of.
That's the one I'm thinking of for sure.
I mean, he had 12 carries. His longest run was 5 yards.
What was his longest reception?
10 yards. And I think that's what it was. I think it was a 10-yard touchdown. But I really, at that price point, I'd be lying if I told you I had a lot of interest in him. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean I want to get to Samaje Perine either. But you look at Perine, he still had 7 touches last game, and was better on the ground than Chase Brown. Anybody else we haven't talked about at running back?
No, I guess Derrick Henry maybe, but I like Lamar and the passers a little more. But you got a Cincinnati defense that I still don't mind attacking anytime I can. So, all
right. What about I'm going to rapid fire and just give me your thoughts quickly on these guys. Not McCaffrey because he's a great play, but Gibbs at the Rams,
sure.
James Cook at New England, and then Barkley at home against the Raiders. You can just rip 3 of those off real quick.
Yeah, I mean, 3 obviously legitimate players for sure. I worry a little bit about James Cook. It's not that they can't get it done, and I actually think they're going to beat New England up there. But
so do I.
Gibbs is unbelievable. I mean, he's someone. If I have the money, I think they understand now that what was a 1A 1B is not that anymore. Gibbs has taken over, rightfully so.
Absolutely, rightfully so. Yeah. You got anything up on Tails today, brother?
So I put up it's college bat. Super Tuesday is here, so I do have. I'm gonna have plenty more. It's also Champions League, which is gonna be sick. But I posted my bet of the day. A little college basketball action tonight. Very looking forward to seeing these games. So if you want some hoops, I know we have NBA Cup tonight as well, or starting tomorrow. There's a couple NBA games. What do you have anything? It's a little too early for you, right?
Yeah, but I will. I think I'm going to try and get some Thursday bets up.
Come tail me.
Some sides. What's that?
Said you come tail a little Villanova tonight.
I'll ride with you here. Yeah. By the way, for those of you guys, who do this stuff, you can always go. You can go and apply to post your own bets on here.
Yeah.
Anyone can get in and post on the free picks page, and then, once you reach, I think it's only like 100 followers, you can set up a paid. So I think it's just oddshopper.com/apply. So we talk about coming and tailing and hanging out with us, which I know most of you guys are looking to do. But yeah, man, this was my Vidal, the 15 plus. And that was, that's
my parlays last night were very, very close. I had the dreaded 2 of 3, 2 of 3. I just wish I ordered them differently. I was all over Saquon last night, which was great. And
that big run that was needed. Yeah,
very needed. But yeah, you guys know this. If you haven't been on Tails, you're missing out on great free content, both for DFS and betting. Well, come join Nova tonight with me. It's going to be a greasy sweat, putting it mildly.
And you can also comment.
Yeah, man.
On these too.
100%.
Like one guy said to me, Lobby, thanks for the tail. Although that I did 14 instead of 15 because some books only had that. Landed me $500 extra for Christmas. Ooh. Sorry he didn't hit 15, but you know what? That's awesome, man. Honestly, it still makes me happy that some people are getting. And then you have somebody like this that goes, we just going to ignore that the starting running back returns tonight. I mean, look, yes, comments are open, but do me a big favor. Do me a big favor. And I go, Amari and Hampton will be back, but he's been sidelined for nearly 2 months, and Vidal has been excellent and has said, I wouldn't be surprised to see Hampton and Vidal split evenly behind the run-heavy approach tonight, which, by the way, is exactly what happened. And this guy's like, hey, moron, Hampton's back. It's like, oh, is that why he's plus 750 to get 15 rushing attempts?
You don't think the books, they might have an inkling?
Yeah. Can you guys do us a favor? Why don't you come in, the sharp DFS people who understand how this works, and start flooding the comments with good conversation? That's what we need, Ben.
Yeah.
That's what we really need.
Come on in, though. No, it's awesome. Obviously, it's fun to have the sweat, have the interaction. And yeah, we'll see you in there. Simple as that. When you get there, give me and Lofty a follow, completely free. No reason not to.
Yeah. And if you find bets you love,
yeah, you just press tail. Look
click
at that.
tail and click whatever book, best odds, lead it, and it'll load it straight into your bet slip. Particularly useful for parlays. So you don't have to go find anything.
No, it's truly, you're getting in on the action. It's not like, oh, I saw this bet, then I got to go to find the right book. Which book has the best price? Oh, I got a different. This is like you're in, you're joining in. We're betting as a team right now. The sweat is activated instantly.
It's awesome, man. Anyway, head over. Links in the description to follow Ben and myself. Chris, it is an awesome feature. It makes it super easy. Download the app. I use the app the Tails app for everything, man.
Me too. Me too.
Wide receivers. Puka, what a game. It just, I kept finally, and it didn't result in me like binking a tournament. And it's not like he wasn't popular, but I just kept fading Devontae Adams. And I just kind of felt somewhat vindicated, like, all right, thank God. Finally, Devontae Adams doesn't have the game, and Puka Nacua rightfully has his own monster game. It was just a matter of time, right, before Adams stopped scoring 3 touchdowns a game.
Yeah, and we had talked about the craziest thing was he was scoring, 2 touchdowns, blah, 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 and he wasn't even killing you if you weren't playing.
Exactly. Yeah, like, dude, against sorry to cut you off, but his game was, I think it was against Jacksonville, and they were in London or Germany or something, and wasn't it the Jacksonville game? And Devontae Adams had 3 touchdowns, and I'm pretty sure he finished with like 24 or something.
It's been crazy.
26 on 3 touchdowns. How is that even possible?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a situation that the regression was clear. You didn't know when, but you knew it was coming, and we saw it. And Puka, his floor is so much higher just because of the way he operates. And then when he starts catching touchdowns, you see 40-point outputs.
Yep. This could be a week I go to Devontae Adams if everybody kind of gets off of him.
I still wish he was more he would be a lot more popular. I get it. I wish he was in the 6,500 range. That would really be appealing.
Yep. Well, it really depends on ownership when we get it tomorrow and it updates throughout the week.
Yeah.
But you know what? Truth is, Devontae Adams will probably still be relatively popular because this game has a 55-point total.
I mean, people are going to have Stafford +2, Stafford, Adams, Parkinson. People are going to have 1. It's going to be popular because of the game environment. So,
also, this is a really banged up secondary for Detroit. They acquitted themselves well last week against Dallas in that primetime game that was in Detroit. I think this looks a little bit different, and Matthew Stafford may have his way with them. It's just hard to stack Stafford with Nacua and Devontae Adams. It gets really difficult. What do you want to do with the top guys? St. Brown on the other side. He managed to play last week and looked no worse for wear. To me, I just don't know how I get away from Jamar Chase, and I don't see any possible way that T. Higgins plays this week. Back in concussion protocol, I'm sure you saw the reports as I did. It looks like there's no way he should have been allowed to go back out there last week.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like he was concussed multiple times.
Yeah, I think it was like 3 different times in that game.
Yeah, every time he caught, I love T. Higgins too, but every time he would catch the ball, it was pretty clear that he was not in great shape. So, Jamar Chase, Baltimore, what we saw, and credit to Aaron Rodgers. I will give him some shout outs. Some amazing balls to DK Metcalf.
Yeah, man.
Jamar Chase is going to have some real opportunities. I also think, and I'm noted hater of this guy, I always think he's perpetually overpriced. I think this is a good spot to jump right back to Rashee Rice. he had an awful matchup against that Texans team. Kansas City's on, they don't even control, but they certainly are out if they lose this game. At home, Chargers off a Monday night overtime game. I think that Rice will get back to his double-digit targets, and he will look pretty good here.
You know what? That might be kind of a diamond in the rough position to take, assuming ownership comes out and everyone wants to get to the Rams-Detroit game.
And I think they will.
I could see it. And obviously Jamar Chase with presumably no T. Higgins, but I think you'd agree, right? It doesn't seem like T. Higgins is going to play. Maybe you're right. I mean, even, you know what? Even AJ Brown, probably more popular, 6,800. This dude's like, don't look now, but AJ Brown has 4 straight games with double-digit targets, 3 straight 100-yard performances as well. So AJ Brown's kind of back, and it is a pass funnel defense with Las Vegas. I do like him, by the way, this week. I think AJ Brown, and you know what? Devonta Smith could end up being a very, very, very great contrarian play, man. He's 5,800. He has not shown up in a big way lately, but again, 11, 8, and 8 targets for Smith. He has that 2 deep ball touchdown, 2 long touchdown upside. 5,800 on Devonta Smith. That could be very sneaky this week.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think that's where we're going to see some ownership discrepancies emerge. And I'm fine trying to zig and zag here because these are big time talents. AJ Brown with a hurt stack, AJ Brown independent of that. I'm not playing Wilson.
DFS Wall Street, Chargers haven't given anything to wide receivers. I assume that's what you mean, right? For the most part, you're absolutely right. But AJ Brown had 6 for 100 and dropped a long touchdown that was a perfectly thrown ball from Hurts. He dropped another one that resulted in an interception. AJ Brown, no joke, should have had $150 and a touchdown yesterday had he not dropped those 2 passes.
Rice also operates where he doesn't have to win like these other receivers as much. They give him the ball like a running back at times. He could have 5 catches that are screen passes. He's going to have a lot of games where it's like 9 catches for 56 yards. Not that I want that, but he has those type of receptions in there.
Yep.
So
he's not my favorite this week.
No, but he's nobody's favorite. That's my point for sure.
Exactly. I mean, Nico's going to be more popular. He's got to be more popular against Arizona. Right? Nico Collins. 100%. Zay Flowers coming off a 100-yard game. Finally, he comes to life. They've got a spot against Cincinnati this week. By the way, I'm going right back to Isaiah Likely. I was super heavy on Likely on Thanksgiving. Obviously, you guys know we bet him, and he did us. We've had a lot of spots where we've just been done dirty recently. Over the target, and it doesn't work out. But what are you going to do, man? But I'll go right back to Likely here. Probably go back to Flowers. This game does have a 51.5 point total. So I think it's a great game environment from a stack perspective.
No, yeah. I mean, we're a couple of fluke plays away from Likely being, a big topic of conversation. And, you're going to have ample options as you dig deep with wide receiver. It'll be stack extensions for me, +2s, things of that nature as you go down into the depths.
Here's not really the depth, but sub 6K. I mentioned Devonta Smith, but Wan'Dale Robinson against Washington. Teteroa McMillan, I think, is fine against the Saints. Brian Thomas, if Parker Washington is out, he's been a total disaster this year, but he might be okay as a stack attachment. I actually like Jacoby Myers better. I like Jacoby Myers more in this game. There's a lot down here, believe it or not. Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, I think both of those guys are viable on a slate like this. I don't really want to go much further down than that. As I looked down into the depths, there wasn't much there. The 5K range actually looks really nice.
Yeah, there's definitely names there. Once you get below that, you're talking about flyers, Worthy, Shaheed, types like that, where it's there, but in between getting there, you're getting nothing. And that's a little, Jerry Jeudy, if you think that can continue. I don't think there's much else unless some injuries open up or you're really trying to be aggressive.
All right, let's talk tight ends here as we get through all of these positions on Tuesday for the Week 15 slate. Big 13-game slate. It doesn't feel like it, though, does it? As we work through this, it doesn't feel like this slate, as far as great options, is any bigger than the slates we've done all year.
I mean, some of it is still dependent on who's not on the slate, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. I mean, there's how many good teams not on the slate?
Yeah.
And then other good teams where your quarterback is hurt, or you just like now you kind of become irrelevant in a bad spot. Even the Jacoby Brissett scenario, where if Marvin Harrison Jr. misses another game, it's hard to go back to the Arizona Cardinals this week. There are multiple teams with really low totals this week.
Yeah, and just tough. Like, Arizona's been kind of a revelation, and they draw the Texans. So that's going to stop everything that we're talking about, in terms of the interest there. There's
still multiple months really left of the NFL season.
Never ends in some ways.
Well, I wanted to put it to you like this, and I mentioned it yesterday. You can get the Sims for free, or you could, of course, just use the link down there and find any traditional route to get the Sims. They really crushed this season. I can't say enough, and these are all wins from like within the past just couple of weeks. I can't say enough about what the tools have done, and I hope a lot of you guys feel the same way. And if not, you just keep making better lineups with them. Like it was, I forget, it was Sean. He tweeted us. He's like, they told me not everybody's going to win.
Oh yeah, maybe
Rutherford. Thank you. Yeah, and he's a great supporter of the channel. But he had the Sims, and he's like, they say not everybody's going to win right away. They say keep. And he's like, it took me 3 months, but here I am. And he took down the $5,000 winner take all, which is a ridiculous contest to win on Sunday.
I can't play that. Like legitimately, my mental.
I can't either. Right. To win that is like, I understand that it's the same thing as binking another tournament, not the payout, but just the idea that you're still first out of all those people. But the idea that it is truly a zero-sum game.
Yeah, no, that's not it. But incredible. Like, yeah, it's just it's an awesome opportunity. And to your point, it's not a get rich overnight situation. It's improve your process day over day. When you do that, you give yourself more chances. And one of those chances eventually comes to fruition. That's just kind of the nature of it. I've said this for a long time. My goal with DFS every week is to get in a position to get lucky.
Yeah.
You got to put yourself in a position to get things to break your way. But if you're not ever in that position, the luck's not going to help you if you're making a ton of mistakes on top of it.
And really no worse feeling than getting most of the lineup right, but it's just all kind of chalky guys with a chalky build, and it results in like a 70% loss on the day.
Yep.
If you guys want to get the tools free, you already know the link's down there. I was talking to someone on Twitter about this yesterday. I was trying to explain, like, no, dude, you don't. It's a $5 or $10 deposit. That's it. You just use that link. You click claim offer on any of these, whether it's Onyx, you spend 10, you get 100 in bonus picks. So already you're 10xing that $10 spend, that $10 deposit. So many of these are already giving you 100% match deposits. They're giving you bonus bets if you haven't done so yet. All of these pick'em sites, if you're in non-legal betting states, Onyx is in 40 plus states because it's a sweepstakes book. So click claim offer and it'll just take you there, right? Once it takes you there, you just sign up, deposit the 5 or 10 minimum, whatever it may be, right? And after you do that, take a screenshot of your first settled bet or pick'em lineup and your welcome email, and email that to us, not the books. They don't care. At support@stokastic.com with the screenshots and tell us what you want. The reason I mentioned the Super Bowl, Ben, is because, and that's cool, if you click claim offer on it, it'll light up so you know which ones you've claimed. If you grabbed 2 months of this, right? Say one was a $5, one was a $10 deposit, that's $15. You got 100 in bonus picks now, so you already clear it. You may end up winning your bets, and that's great. That's 2 months of whatever you want. $130 value because the core sims are $130 a month. The Super Bowl is on February 8th. Today is December 9th. That would literally take you all the way through the remainder of the regular season, the final 4 weeks, all of those specialty slates on Christmas and everything else in the Saturday slates, and every single playoff week up all the way through the Super Bowl with a $15 total, $20 total spend. That's the ticket right there.
Yeah. You don't have to think about it for the rest of the season. It's just one less thing. You know, you got your process ironed out, and then you can just focus on the important stuff, which is building lineups and giving yourself chances.
So let's get into the tight end position. Yeah, I'm not going to McBride. If I get burned by McBride against Houston this week, so be it. Brock Bowers against Philly. I really don't love that. Kittle against Tennessee. That's kind of interesting. Kelsey against the Chargers. Honestly, Kelsey might be my favorite play in that range this week.
It's not great. I think most people at first glance are going to pay down at tight end because the best guys are in tough matchups, things like that. And there's not a lot there. So yeah, you have Kelsey at 49. You know, Kincaid and Henry are playable, but they're priced, I'd say, appropriately. There's no discount there. Schultz, sure, but like how much do they need to throw? Goddard. I think if you're playing Hurts, or even if you're not, he's going to be a name that's going to pop up for a lot of people. He had 10 targets last night.
He had 10 targets last night against the Chargers, who have been much less efficient at limiting tight ends. That's kind of why I like Travis Kelce going up against the Chargers this week. I think it's a good spot, man. I really do. And I'd be willing to go back there. Like you mentioned, Goddard, yes. But here you go. Isaiah Likely is $3,400. Just, I know he hasn't been remarkable, but back-to-back 6-target games, the snap count continues to rise. Rivaling Mark Andrews now, and I like that. Mark Andrews has really not been good, man. They just signed him to an extension, but do I want to pay $500 more for Andrews? Right? Not really. I would rather just go to Isaiah Likely, who right now feels like a more athletic and explosive kind of tight end. That isn't to say I won't have Mark Andrews. I know I will, just because it's a 51 total game. It's Baltimore against Cincinnati, but I think Isaiah Likely is just as good, if not a better play than Mark Andrews this week.
Yeah, and I think people, it's not even a chase in a bad way, but, Fannin had 11 targets last week. I wouldn't be stunned or surprised to see people click his name. We'll see what's going on with the Bears. Loughran did find the end zone. He scored in 2 of 3. Yep. Still a little crowded, and there was no roam. You're getting down there, once you get into the mid-3s.
I think Theo Johnson looks okay, though.
Yeah, he's another one. Like he's a legitimate weapon for Dart, and if you do get to Dart, you don't have that many options. Wandale, Theo, it's fine.
Yeah. If you're talking just favorite tight ends here, I mean, for me, Kelsey and Likely, I'd probably throw Andrews into the mix as well. To me, it feels like those are the guys I like the most. I don't want to ignore Kincaid either, but those are the 3 guys I like the most. Probably throw Kittle into the mix, but not sure how much they use him or need him in this game.
Yeah, I would, like I said, I would add in Goddard. It's a position I don't anticipate really like making radical stands. You just have a lot of guys that I think figure, and there won't be a big time ownership discrepancy.
Brandon said the tools help build the base. The videos content help to find the diamond in the rough. Actually, I love that. I
appreciate that. I like that though.
Yeah, like using the content is kind of supplemental, right? If you're a Sims user using the tools, because I do that. I go in and I boost some guys. I boosted the hell out of Vidal yesterday, and talked about it a lot on the shows. It is what it is. There's going to be times we're right and there's times we're wrong. And you guys have the autonomy to make those decisions. If you hear something you like, you go, yeah, you know what? I didn't think about that. Or you say, you know what? I think these guys are wrong. And you do the complete opposite. Defense. We always give one defense or a couple if we have them under 3K. There is not a lot out there this week. I'm telling you right now, man, it's quite ugly under 3K. There was really only one team I could come up with that I felt even halfway decent about?
No. All right.
Should just play the Raiders at 2,000 against Philly.
I tried that last week. I would say the Giants. That would be one for me.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Cleveland.
You would go Cleveland?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
2,700.
And then, it's a lot of, listen, when you get down here, it's a lot of speaking to both sides, because I don't mind targeting Carolina, but I don't mind targeting the Saints defense at home.
That was the one I had. I think the Saints at home, cheap price point, not all that bad. Their defense hasn't even, I know they haven't been putting up a lot of fantasy points, but they actually haven't been that bad, right?
They've been fine.
They allowed 20 to Baker in Tampa, 21. Like that Miami game wasn't, they haven't been that bad. They beat the Panthers 17-7. So yeah, that would be the one spot. And then we'll wrap it up with this, Ben, talking about one other spot, and that is stacks. Our top 3 favorite stacks for the slate. I can go first here if you want a second.
All right, top 3 favorite stacks. Yeah. Why don't we go back and forth?
Yeah. Yep. All right, you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
All right, so number 1, because of the price points, I'm going to Philadelphia. If ownership is different here, then I may back off. But right now, I don't expect this team to be as popular as they should be. It isn't because I think they're going to blow up. It is exactly what Ben just said. You have to put yourself in a position to be lucky. And I think Philly at these price points could be the spot. So I'll go Jalen Hurts, our Eagles stack.
I'll go Lamar.
Okay. I'll come down a little bit and I'll go Jackson Dart. And I don't mind skinny stacking him, but I don't think it's crazy to go Wandale plus Theo either. Very cheap stack.
I'll go CJ Stroud. I know that Marks could figure, but he also could be in that stack.
For sure. All right, so we each have one more, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go Joe Burrow here for sure. So Cincy stack.
I'll go Mahomes.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's again. You want to tell me you want an obvious stack? You could go to some of these other guys, but we talked about we like Kelsey. I talked about I like Rice. Well, if these things are coming to fruition, $6,500 Mahomes who runs is going to be at home in a pretty decent spot.
Good call. Okay, yeah. Plus, I mean, truly a do or die game for Kansas City.
Yeah, they're out of. I mean, I think they're already out of options, but this is like there will be no discussions of them if they lose this game.
Anyway, come check Tails out today. We got some fun stuff going on. I'm going to be posting some NFL bets. Ben's posting all types of stuff. Josh is posting, by the way, some incredible tools that he built for pick'em cards. And what's that?
And the cool boosts, like King of the End Zone, King of the Court.
Yeah. You should be following Josh on Tails without question. He's doing stuff that is actually out. It should not be free. It really shouldn't. You could charge for a lot of what he's doing over there.
Doubt.
So come check everything out. Download the app. And like I said, oddshopper.com/apply. If you want to get in and start posting picks yourself, let us know. Dude, if Ben and I see it and say, this is actually some sharp stuff, I would happily amplify it too. I genuinely would. I look every day on there to see if there's people worth amplifying. And if I say this is sharp insight and they're transparent, I happily would do it. I know you would too. And you do.
Yeah. It's a great way to build a following. If you're someone that's out there and you have some aspirations,
you took Mike Thurston under your wing, and he was originally a subscriber, right?
Yeah, it happened.
Portfolio EV, and ends up being super sharp and a great bettor. And now he's got his own VIP.
Yep. It's the best way to do it. You get exposure to a giant audience and you let the content speak for itself. But regardless, if you're a user or a creator, Tails has something for you. That's a fact.
We'll see you guys back here soon. Have a great rest of the day. NBA Live before Lock Deeper Dive tonight. Greg and I'll see you back here tomorrow morning. First run of ownership, Sims projections, you name it, on the Single Lineup Sims show, all 10 a.m. Eastern time. Until next time, bye-bye.